Our study has led us to the conclusion that the devil or Satan is an evil personal being, more specifically, an angel who was expelled from heaven along with other angels. Some people find the idea of fallen angels abhorrent. They say all angels are obedient ministers of God. Thus, we now want to consider what biblical evidence there is for the existence of sinful angels, apart from passages about Satan himself. In 2 Chronicles 18, we read that the Lord was sitting on his throne with all the host of heaven before him. Then a spirit came forward and volunteered to be a lying spirit in the mouth of Ahab's prophets. Lying is sin. Therefore, this presumably angelic being was sinful. Isaiah 24:21 foretells the day when the Lord will punish the host of heaven in heaven and the kings of the earth on the earth. The host of heaven in this context refers to angelic beings. We already alluded to the Prince of Persia of Daniel 10 in our previous blog, and a strong case can be made that this too is a fallen angel. The argument is too involved to develop here, so I recommend you look up the article I linked to in my last blog. There is also circumstantial evidence for fallen angels in Paul's letters. In Romans 8:38-39, Paul lists angels among the things in the created order which cannot separate us from the love of God. This is meaningful only if angels exist who could possibly want to separate us from the love of God. In 1 Corinthians 6:3, Paul asks his readers, "Do you not know that we are to judge angels? How much more then matters pertaining to this life?" The word angels here definitely refers to angels, and judge is definitely used in the legal sense. Yet there would be no reason for angels to face judgment unless it is possible for them to sin. In Galatians 1:8, Paul declares, "But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be accursed." While this is hyperbole, the statement is only meaningful if it is at least possible in principle that an angel from heaven could preach a false gospel. So Paul does not plainly mention fallen angels, but he makes statements that suggest a familiarity with this idea. However, the strongest evidence for the existence of fallen angels is found in the parallel texts of 2 Peter 2:4 and Jude 1 verse 6. These epistles refer to angels who sinned, who did not stay within their position, but left their proper dwelling and were chained in gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment. We now know that these texts allude to the Watcher's story, an angelic interpretation of the sons of God of Genesis 6, which was prevalent in Second Temple Judaism, especially the pseudepigraphic book of Enoch, from which Jude also quotes in Jude 1:14 and 15. Some Christadelphian writers claim that Peter and Jude were referring to the Watcher's story in an ironic way in order to discredit it. If so, their irony was so subtle that nearly all biblical interpreters since the 2nd century have taken their words literally. Indeed, Peter assigns the same historical authority to the angels that sinned as he does to the stories of Noah and Lot. Jude places the account on the same footing as the Exodus and Sodom and Gomorrah. While the use of extra-biblical sources creates an interesting conundrum for Bible scholars, the fact is that both of these writers affirmed the existence of fallen angels as historical reality. Of course, these angels, having been bound since antiquity, do not appear related to Satan's rebellion. Nevertheless, they, along with the other passages we considered, establish that there is a biblical basis for belief in fallen angels.